How's it going, everybody? This is ET back at it again with another DIY project for the S197 Mustang. And what I ended up doing was buying the Steeda Sports rear sway bar package with the end links. Something I've been wanting for a while just to help with the body roll. So Steeda was a perfect company that I always wanted to work with. Hopefully, maybe in the future, but I just know reputable that Steeda is one of the best performing. As far as suspension type work, good for your S197. So if you're looking for something like that, that may be the route to go. I know I ended up doing the white line uh, lower control arms, so I kind of want to pair it up with the Steeda. Kind of those are the two companies I want to work with primarily. So that's the project for today. We're gonna work with the Steeda. We're gonna see how it goes, and I'm about to show you what you're gonna get in your package. What you're gonna get in your package is you're gonna get the 7/8 alloy steel sway bar link. Very doable, very sturdy. You're gonna end up getting some different brackets, nuts, and then bushings, and then as well as your end links. I think these end links are freaking badass. How they have Steeda just like that, and then your bolts, and then your bushings right there to replace your stock ones. And then of course you're gonna end up getting some grease. So that's what you're gonna expect to get in your package out of the sports rear sway bar from Steeda. So next, what you're gonna end up doing is getting underneath the car. You're gonna end up using your WD-40, or I'm using the PB Blaster, and you're gonna end up going right underneath where the wheel would go, right? And then you're gonna end up, as you can see, your old sway bar. You're gonna see these old brackets right here, and you're gonna end up spraying them down both sides. Let's see if I can get it going. Just to make the process come out a lot easier. And then you're gonna do the same thing for the brackets right up top. And you're gonna do the same thing for the other side. So yeah. Now what you're gonna end up doing is you're gonna take these nuts off. Top and bottom nuts, which are 15 millimeter. You're gonna take these off, and as well as a 15 millimeter uh, nut that's up here as well. Okay. So now what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna end up greasing these bushings. Okay. So let's see what size it is. Just gonna go on a hunch, and beautiful. All right, 13 millimeter, right on the money. So you're gonna end up taking these off, so we can go grease these bushings up. Ugh. So now what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna end up greasing the inside of these bushings and the outside. Be generous with it. You want to make sure everything is lubricated. Same thing for the outside. And then you're gonna end up putting these at the end of your sway bar. And what you're gonna end up doing is rotating, make sure it gets nice and lubricated. And then the same thing for the next one. Down here in South Texas, these mosquitoes get bad after it started raining. That's what I'm trying to fight. I'm kind of hurrying up right now. So, got to watch it, make sure you don't want to necessarily get too much on you. Uh, a glove is definitely recommended for this, as it will get dirty and messy pretty darn quick. Spin it around. There we go. And then same thing for these bushings, as far as Doesn't necessarily need to be lubricated on the outside, just needs to be lubricated pretty much on the inside. Oh, you know what? Probably can be lubricated on the outside, I'm gonna be honest with you. Be generous, because ultimately it is a pretty big tube for it. So and there you go. And you got that part covered. So now I can get these out and start throwing the faceplates back on. Make sure you screw these in by hand. Oh, mosquitoes. Screw those by hands, because last thing you want to do is do it by drill and end up, you know, misthreatening them or breaking them somehow, some way. Getting back underneath the car, you're gonna make sure that the Steeda is facing the rear of the car, and now you're just gonna slightly force this back in there. What you could do is also end up throwing some grease and end up just putting it right in the spot to make sure that it can just nicely and smoothly grow into this bracket right there. And then you're going to then use the screw that was just in, and then you're going to use the supplied nut that Steeda gave you. You're not going to use the nut that came off of there right here. You're not going to use this. You're going to use the Steeda's nut, that they provided, and it's going to be a part of that. So there you go. And then you're going to do the opposite side, and then I'll get back to you on the next one.
The audio didn't end up going into with this video, so I'm kind of making voiceover. But initially, what ended up happening was I first had to use the sway bar because it kept rolling on me. So I couldn't use the end links first. What you're gonna end up doing, as I see, is you're gonna end up putting the bushings onto the brackets so they can stay there. Ultimately, that was trouble putting it on by myself. So if there's help, utilize it. So put the sway bar using the brackets with the 15 millimeter bolts it on. Then you're gonna go onto the other side that I'm pointing at, and now you're gonna end up putting the end link, put the bolt on, and then you're just gonna end up leaving the bushing off and just push the end link back. For the passenger side, since that's in the way, what you're gonna end up doing is keeping the bushing and the end link on the sway bar, and you're gonna force it up there into where it goes, and put the 15 millimeter bolt through there as well. Um, Make sure when you're using the Steeda end links that they provide the nut. So make sure that you utilize that rather than using your stock one. Then what you're going to end up doing is going to the other side and then stick on the bushing through with the end link, force it on there, and that's going to end up holding both sides. Um, After that, you're going to take your little thing the state provided with you. I'm not too sure what it's called, but it just pretty much just holds the bushing and the sway bar and link to the end link. You're gonna make sure that you're going to put those on with the screw.
Ultimately, I think this is definitely worth the buy. I ended up driving the car for a couple of days, and I significantly noticed a big difference. A lot, as in the rear end definitely hooks a little bit more when I'm taking my turns, going swimming. There's definitely a big notice of a difference. So if you're planning on getting one of these, I definitely recommend Steeda is the right way to go. I'm not too sure if I'll end up in the future getting the fronts done, but ultimately they make a huge difference. So see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like.